We have what I think will be a very provocative set of panelists talking about really important issues regarding the Common Core state standards and assessments and what's going on in their states. In order to set up this session, I want to talk about a few things that we heard last night from the fireside chat folks, as well as what we've heard this morning. In dealing with the Common Core state standards and assessments, people have talked about just helping everyone in our states understand that we're all on the same page, even though they don't know they are. I thought that was particularly interesting. This morning we heard about speaking truth to power, and I wish we had entitled our session Speaking Truth to Power, because I think it really talks about how dealing with the issues around the Common Core state standards and assessments, there are many conversations going on in our states, many questions being posed by our constituents that really need to be answered if implementation is going to be successful. So I hope that you don't think of people as naysayers if they raise questions or concerns or talk about the pushback that we are experiencing in our states, because I think it's only when we embrace those questions and concerns and deal with them honestly that we will be successful at the end of the day with implementation. So that, if I was going to say one thing about what this session is about, it's really starting to talk about what the elephant in the room or the elephants in the room are in our states right now, and with hope on how those need to be addressed if we're to move forward. What I'd like to do first is let my panelists introduce themselves, and then I will start with a couple of very large questions for them to respond to. And so we'll start with Allison.
Hello, I'm Allison Handley. I'm president of the University of Maine at Augusta. I've been there 4 years. I had the good fortune to be in Kentucky twice, and what my other fellow panelists who are from M states do not know is that there are only two kinds of people in the world, those who were born in Kentucky and those who wished they had been born in Kentucky. But it's wonderful to be back in this part of the world.
Good afternoon. My name's Rusty Monholland. Yeah, that's my given name. Mom wanted a son and Dad wanted an Irish setter. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for Academic Affairs at the Missouri Department of Higher Education. Before taking on that post, I was an Associate Professor of History at Hood College in Frederick, Maryland. Before that, I was a welder. So I feel like I've kind of gotten through various parts of the educational pipeline.
That's the CTE connection. Good. I'm Sharon Hogue. I'm Assistant Commissioner for the Office of College and Career Readiness in Missouri. And that office is part of what has been reorganized in our agency. We include curriculum, assessment, and career and technical education. And that last hat is new for me, so I've learned a lot in the last year. I never thought I'd be dealing with a lot of welding competencies, but I have. So.
I'm Greg Satharis. I'm the chairman of the math department at Bristol Community College in Fall River, Massachusetts. I started off my career with teaching high school math for 6 years and somehow managed to find myself in a community college, and I've been there for 18 years. I've been interested in areas. I'm the president of our faculty senate, and we have been working a lot with our local administration about issues of getting faculty involved. So I'm very fortunate that we have a Department of Higher Education in Massachusetts, which is having faculty have a really strong say in determining what college readiness is. So that's how I got involved, and I think invited to be here.
Hi, I'm Steve Krostowski, and I am the PARCC coordinator at the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. It's a role I just assumed in September, so I'm fairly new to the world of PARCC and Common Core, and I'm really happy to be here with y'all.
Thank you. So 2 questions, and they're quite long, but this isn't a listening test for the panelists. They have actually seen these questions before. But it is a listening test for all of you, and we actually would like to engage the audience in this session, and we've put a tablet of blank paper on each of your tables, and I have 2 specific questions to ask the audience in just a minute, but that's where you write that down. You can include your state or you can be anonymous, whatever is your preference. So the first question. Earlier today, during the session entitled, "What Would Statewide Collaboration Look Like in a Perfect World?" we heard why engagement on the Common Core state standards and assessments should include college and university administrators and faculty, K-12 chiefs, superintendents, school boards, principals and teachers, state higher education executives and their staffs, and governors, legislators, and other state policy leaders such as business leaders, Chamber of Commerce, and we have forgotten parents and the public. How would you describe the statewide collaboration on the Common Core state standards and assessments taking place in your state? Are all of the critical participants at the table? If not, who is missing? So that's the first question for you around the table, if you would like to answer that. Yes or no? Is everyone there? If not, who's missing? Second question. Are there elephants in the room related to implementing the assessments that must be acknowledged and addressed before progress can be made on implementation? Can you describe what the elephants in the room are in your state? And now I'd like to go to the panelists, and we're going to start with the Massachusetts contingent.
In one of the breakout sessions I went to this morning, someone asked me, why do we need the Common Core in Massachusetts? Our students are highest performing on NAEP in the nation. We are considered to have strong standards, a strong assessment system, so why do we need to change to the new Common Core? And the answer to that is because although we're doing pretty well, we need to do better. And we have big gaps in achievement between white affluent students and those who are non-white, English language learners, special ed students. We also find that although our students do well on achievement tests, a high percentage when they enter college, they need remediation, and that's simply unacceptable. I'm going to start about talking about Common Core engagement. We've done a lot around the Common Core. Massachusetts was one of the leading states involved in drafting the Common Core. While we were in the process of drafting the new standards and then adopting them, we had a lot of engagement and outreach to the field. Initially, it was about what are the new standards, how do they differ from the old standards, and then once we adopted the new standards, the focus shifted to implementation issues and providing resources and tools to teachers so that they may implement the new standards in their classrooms. We have used regional networks. We have 6 readiness centers that were established in 2009 by the Executive Office of Education to promote collaboration and coherence across the 3 sectors of early learning, K-12 and higher ed, and also to engage not just the education community but the business community and nonprofits as well. We've used networks. We have an ELA network, a math network, an urban superintendent's network. We've done a great deal of outreach through those networks, as well as English language learner network, special ed network. We have an annual curriculum and instruction summit that's focused on K-12 educators. And then we also have used our annual STEM summit that is broader than the curriculum instruction summit. And that involves not just K-12 educators, but also higher ed and the business community and nonprofits. Now, while we've done a lot of outreach and engagement around the Common Core, we have not done that much around PARCC. And that is because PARCC is early in its development phase. We have a lot of questions that still need to be answered. We don't feel like we have a lot that we can tell the field at this point. We're also in the process of developing a formal strategic statewide communication plan around the Common Core and PARCC that involves all three sectors: early learning, K-12, and higher ed. And so while we're developing that, we feel like we want to go light on the PARCC communication front. The white elephants, in terms of implementing PARCC, one that's huge in our state is technology. The PARCC assessments will be delivered, will be administered online. And in Massachusetts, we haven't had an IT bond in over 10 years. We've had some schools invest well in technology, many have not. And right now, we would just not be capable of administering online assessments. And so we're in the beginning stages of addressing that issue. In terms of financial and political support, I think in Massachusetts it's strong. The political support has been strong. Our current assessment program, MCAS, is I think one of the more expensive in the nation. So moving to PARCC, I think it will cost us less. So I don't think that's an issue in Massachusetts as it is in many states. Another issue involves setting standards, the college and career ready standard. And our Commissioner, Mitchell Chester, has repeatedly said that we will not adopt PARCC unless it is as good or better than MCAS. And we feel that it will be, and we're very involved in the development of PARCC, and we feel confident that it will be a big improvement. But standards won't be set until the summer of 2015, and we need to make a decision about whether to adopt PARCC or not before that occurs. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. Another issue is sustainability. The race to the top assessment, and this issue applies not just to PARCC but also to Smarter Balanced. And the race to the top assessment grant takes us through, I believe, June 30 of 2014. So that's before the first year of operational administration of the new assessments. So we're just beginning to discuss issues around how to sustain this to move forward. And another issue I would say is the development timeline is aggressive, but we feel it's doable, but it's challenging. And a lot of people are working really hard, and we think it'll be a big improvement.